Alrighty, friends, we are going on to our final week of our psychology on discipline. The first week we went over understanding the foundations of discipline. Week 2 was techniques for building discipline. Week 3 was discipline in overcoming psychological challenges. And today's lesson is sustaining discipline for long-term success. So we only have 2 parts to this. It's going to be pretty quick. It's going to be maintaining discipline over time is our first part. And our second part is the role of motivation, rewards, and accountability in discipline. So my goal with all of these lessons is to make them concise. So I'm not wasting your time. I'm not wasting my time. And also to provide you guys with actionable tools to move forward to improve whatever it is you want to improve. In this case, it's going to be directed towards discipline. So without further ado, let's jump into it, folks. Sustaining discipline for long-term success. Part 1, maintaining discipline over time. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Jocko Willink. He was a former Navy SEAL. He's an author. He's well respected, and I would say most would agree that he's a very disciplined individual. So I always understood and appreciated his quote, "Discipline equals freedom." I align with that very much so. I often talked about the definition of discipline being the deepest form of self-love you can give to yourself. And when you do implement discipline into your life, it truly does open up freedoms like you've never seen. If you're talking financially, if you stay extremely disciplined towards making money, you will make money. And that can provide you freedom in one way. It can provide you freedoms in many different ways. I'm not saying the purpose of us being here is to make money as far as our purpose on earth, I'm saying, but it does provide freedom. So while motivation may fluctuate, discipline provides the structure needed for long-term success. So I encourage you guys to focus on building consistent habits rather than relying on fleeting motivation. Discipline thrives on routine. So create daily or weekly rituals that reinforce your goals, even on low motivation days. So following this, I have a quote by James Clear. He's the author of Atomic Habits. Really recommend that book. Very insightful. I use it. I go back to the techniques that I learned from that book and from James Clear consistently, not only to form new habits, but to break old ones. For me, it's much harder to break old habits than it is to form new habits. And so when I'm struggling with something that I don't want to continue to do, I will always look back to his book, Atomic Habits. Highly recommend it. But that last point I just went over, focus on building consistent habits rather than relying on fleeting motivation. The discipline that you enact in your life should be focused on consistent habits. It should not be focused, or I guess you couldn't even call it discipline if you're relying on motivation to keep you going. So I will move forward from that point and jump into embracing the process. So here's a quote from James Clear. "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." I'll say that one more time. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. He has a really good example of this. Say you're in track and field and you're doing the 100-meter hurdles or whatever it might be. And we have 8 people on the line. Every single one of those racers, their goal is to win the race. Yet not everybody wins the race. So when he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, it doesn't matter if it's financially or in relationship or status or success, whatever it is you want to achieve, you will not rise to those goals. You're going to fall back onto the systems that you've implemented in your daily life, your habits. So I really want you guys to take that to heart. Like, we will not rise to our goals. We will fall to less level of our systems. So highly, highly recommend reading that book, but that's a great point that he put in there. So view discipline as a daily practice, focusing on the small actions that add up over time. Celebrate small wins and progress, as this reinforces the habit loop and keeps you on track towards long-term success. So for me, I've talked about this in the last few weeks, going over our psychology theme of discipline and how it is a daily choice to do the hard thing and stay disciplined. It is not this thing where you achieve and then you're set for life. It takes work every single day. The same work that it takes to be a mother or father, a good mother or a good father, rather. It takes work. And the same thing with whatever job you have. If you're a full-time trader, it takes work to consistently reach those financial outcomes. It's the same thing happens with discipline. And I know it's intuitive. I don't mean to beat the dead horse, but it takes work daily. So this is your reminder to stay disciplined and to continue to work daily on the hard things, to make the hard choices, because it truly is the deepest form of self-love. If you do not acquire the skill set of being disciplined, you're giving up on all your future ambitions and goals. You will not reach them without discipline. So that was part one. Like I mentioned, today's lesson is going to be pretty quick. We are moving into part two, the role of motivation, rewards, and accountability. So I have 4 sections, even though I just listed 3. One's motivation, then rewards, then accountability, and finally public commitments. And then I have a wrap up, quick little summary for us. So I'll just jump into that. Let me, internet connection, John. Am I doing okay? Can you guys hear me all right? Hopefully it's your internet, not mine. Check. Okay, good. Yeah, we got a hurricane one state over. So we're working through the issues of fluctuations in internet stability. Okay, let's jump into it. Motivation. So there's 2 types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic is inward, extrinsic is outward. So intrinsic motivation is driven by, intrinsic motivation is driven by internal rewards, such as personal growth or a sense of accomplishment. That's big for me. I'm much less likely to be motivated by extrinsic motivation, and I'm much more likely to do so because of personal goals that I set for myself. So extrinsic motivation is influenced by external rewards, such as recognition or tangible outcomes like money or status. So a practical tip for us: cultivate intrinsic motivation by connecting your actions to your deeper purpose or values. This helps maintain discipline even when external rewards are not immediate. So all that to say, when we're talking about motivation, it should be coming from within, not coming from others or people around you or worldly things. It should be coming from the inside. And I'm not saying that extrinsic motivation can't be motivating and keep you disciplined and accountable, but I would recommend that you guys really focus on what you want to become in your life, the type of person you want to be, and focus on those values, hone in on that, and then move forward from there. So let's talk about rewards. Use of rewards to reinforce habits. I have a quote from Charles Duhigg. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, he's a really well-known author, and he says, every habit, no matter how complex, is malleable. So when we talk about, like I stated earlier, our bad habits in our life that can really be holding me down, I lean into people like James Clear or Atomic Habits to help break those habits. But here we have a really well-known author, and I really appreciate what he says, that no matter how complex your habit, it is malleable. You can change it. So a lot of us get caught into bad habits like eating too much, eating unhealthy. When you get off work, instead of being happy to come home and see your spouse or your partner, you kind of roll right past them and dismiss them and move to your room. Or maybe it is you smoke too much or drink too much, whatever it is. I promise you those habits are malleable no matter how long you've been doing them. So start, and here I'll continue my point. By attaching small rewards to disciplined actions, you reinforce positive behavior and make it more likely to stick. So we will get into more of the feedback loop, but this is essentially what it's talking about. When you are trying to break a habit or form a good one, I encourage you guys to reward yourself. That doesn't mean go drink a fifth or shove your face full of bad food. What I'm saying is, If you want to reward yourself for doing something that you didn't want to do, like go for a run. Maybe that reward is watching your favorite TV show, or having a little tasty treat from the fridge, whatever it might be. But those reward systems that you put in place really do help reinforce discipline in your life and create good habits. So I'll get in. I have another point on that in the future, but I really did appreciate the quote by Charles Duhigg. Every habit, no matter how complex, is malleable. So a practical tip for us: set up a reward system where you treat yourself after completing specific tasks or goals. This could be as simple as taking a break or enjoying a favorite activity. So just like what I went over, for me, the habit I'm trying to form is 2 hours of research every single day for lessons like this, for our wellness, for our risk management. And the way I reward myself is through breaks. So I'll jump on and play 30 minutes to an hour of video game when I complete that 2 hours of work. Or let's see, internet's out. Shoot, lost it. Give me one moment, folks, if you guys can still hear me. Okay, well, let me, I apologize for the internet connection. As many of you guys might know, there's a hurricane in the south right now, and I am in the south. So experiencing some difficulties. I will move quickly, and hopefully we can maintain connection through the rest of the lesson. Thanks for bearing with us. Okay, I'll run through it one more time. Use of rewards to reinforce habits. Got a quote by Charles Duhigg. Every habit, no matter how complex, is malleable. By attaching small rewards to disciplined actions, you reinforce positive behavior and make it more likely to stick. So, practical tip for us: set up a reward system where you treat yourself after completing specific tasks or goals. This could be as simple as taking a break or enjoying a favorite activity. For me, when I go into study, a goal of mine is to study for 2 hours a day, whether it's on psychology, risk management, or wellness, or a combination of both. I am always trying to set myself up to continue that habit. So in doing so, my reward for myself is taking a break. Maybe that's playing video games, which is a de-stressor for me, which I highly encourage you guys to implement tactics to lower stress in your life daily. Or maybe it's just like taking a break and sitting outside for a moment, or playing the guitar, or whatever it might be for you. So that's what helps me when trying to form good habits. So moving on, let's talk about accountability. The power of accountability partners. So I have a quote from Gretchen Rubin. She's another author that I look up to. Accountability is a powerful motivator. We all know that when someone is relying on you. And for me, a perfect example of her quote, accountability is a powerful motivator, is being a parent. If you guys are not parents yet, like I am not a parent, or you are parents, I think we can all relate on the fact that you would be extremely motivated to give your children a really good life. And for you, sometimes that may just be getting food on the table for dinner or keeping a roof over their heads. So accountability is extremely powerful as a motivator. So having someone to check in with regularly increases your chances of sticking to your goals. So I think that's pretty intuitive for most of us. So I encourage you guys to continue to hold yourself accountable and ask for other people to hold accountable for you as well. So on that point, find an accountability partner or join a group where you share your goals and track your progress together. Regular check-ins and honest feedback helps maintain discipline. Pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to touch on that too much. So the last point I have here is public commitments. These can also, it ties in perfectly with accountability. It's extremely motivating. So making your goals public, whether by sharing with friends, family, or social media, this adds a layer of responsibility and encourages you to follow that through. So if, just like anything else in life, guys, the more responsibility you add to your plate, the more accountable you're going to be. And accountability, as we just learned, is an extremely powerful motivator. So whether that's announcing your goals towards social media, or talking to a friend you trust or a family member, or maybe it's at a dinner party with a couple of your friends and maybe some family as well. And you say, hey, my goal is to work out 5 times a week. I'm going to be lifting 3 times a week, and I'm going to be doing cardio 2 times a week. And that's going to be my goal moving forward. And to ask one of them or multiple of them to check in with you to keep you accountable, to keep moving forward. In my own experience, that has helped me a ton. And I think a lot of us can relate to that as well. So my closing statement I have is, by building strong systems, using rewards effectively, and leveraging accountability, you can sustain discipline and stay disciplined on long-term success. The key is to create habits and support systems that carry you through even when motivation fades. So that's all I have for you guys today. It is really just a capstone of our psychology lesson on discipline. We talked about maintaining discipline over time and the role of motivation, rewards, and accountability when trying to build and deepen your relationship with discipline. So if you guys have any questions, shoot them out in the chat right now. I'd be happy to answer them. But again, this is, for some of us, this information may be brand new. For others, it may just be a reminder. And at the end of the day, I'm just encouraging you guys to do what is right, to do something that is showing you the deepest form of self-love, like I talked about. Let me see if I can pull up one of my earlier lessons on psychology and read a quote that I made up of for psychology. And I defined what discipline is. And so let me try to find that quickly for you guys. I'll read the chat. Really needed this. Well, good. I'm glad I'm helping some of you guys, but I do really like this quote. I'll try to find it quickly for you. Week 2, I think it's going to be week 1. Let's see. I don't know if I could find it quickly, folks. Unfortunately, my internet is giving me some trouble today. Psychology, growth mindset. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. But anyway, the culminating, or the basics of what I define discipline is the deepest form of self-love. Your future goals, your aspirations, everything you want in life is truly depending on your discipline and how much you want it. And it is really easy to slip up when we are not directly connecting that discipline to our future goals and aspirations. So again, this is just an encouragement to really focus on what is important to you, what really matters, and to make really specific goals to reach whatever it is you want to become, whether that's a skilled piano player or an extremely consistent and profitable trader. It all requires discipline. And I know that it's almost a cliche. We always hear us or people talk about discipline, super important. But the tools that I try to provide over the last 4 weeks is actionable steps to help you create habits and systems in your life to maintain that discipline consistency. So I don't mean to beat the dead horse, but this stuff is important. I really, really do encourage you guys to work on this stuff every day. For me, what helps me get motivated in the morning, intrinsic motivation we talked about, and to get momentum building, is I create 3 really easy goals for me in the morning to complete. And I can do it every single day. What I do is I wake up, I roll out of bed, I drink 16 ounces of water. That's 1 win. The next one is making my bed. That's 2 wins. And the next one is opening up my window and letting the sunshine come in. And then I jump in a cold shower. So if I can maintain that momentum throughout the day, I know it's going to be a good day as far as discipline is concerned. So I encourage you guys, as soon as you wake up in the morning, to make really easy accomplishments or goals that you can accomplish easy rather, and build that momentum throughout the day and reward yourself for those small habits. So I'll read the chat really quick, but I think that was a pretty quick lesson just on 20 minutes. Do you have anything we can print out, reminder for to post in the house? Yes, I believe that is on actually one of my priority lists. I will get that out to you shortly. I can do that for all my lessons, foundations for wellness, foundations for risk management, and foundations for discipline and psychology. I can create a PDF and hopefully make it look a little nice through Canva and send it out to you guys. That maybe it's just a little something you cut out or put on your mirror in the morning or your fridge, or leave it around your house like you were talking about. I could definitely make that happen. So I appreciate you guys a ton. It seems like that's all we have for today. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We do have a hurricane one state over, and it's getting pretty windy out and rainy. So internet tends to not do as well in these conditions. So I appreciate that a lot. That would be nice. We could read it before bed quickly. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get that out to you guys. So appreciate you tons. Go drink some water. Go work out today. Do the hard things. Stay disciplined. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Keep on living, guys. We don't have a lot of time here on Earth, unfortunately. So I'll talk to you later. Thanks.